Here we go. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are going live here. We are here to disabuse you of ideas which hold your mind prisoner. We are here to tell you to turn on, tune in, drop out. We're going to have some fun on this show. We're going to get a little crazy. We've got Craig Filick here. He's going to help us out. Anything you'd like to talk about on this show, we're ready to go. Join in, chat, say hello. Your comments should appear right here, and all should be well. So, Craig, take it away.
All right. Welcome, everybody. If you can hear us, go ahead and let us know in the chat. We're going to be talking about superpowers today. We want to know what your superpower is. What is your superpower, and how do you understand superpowers? So I'll share a little about my own. I know my superpower because it's what puts me in flow. It's the thing that gives me a sense that I am being who I'm here to be, doing what I'm here to do, and everything is right with the world. And so for me, that is drawing forth, calling forth your light, calling forth light in the world, calling forth light from the people that I'm here to serve. And the way that I do that is by creating illuminating games. So we'll talk more about that. And I'm curious to hear from you, Garrett. What is your superpower, and how did you come to understand what it is?
My superpower is causing trouble. My superpower is creating some experiences of awe, wonder, frisson. That, I guess, is the thing that I've developed most in my life, is creating that experience where you are transcending, that self-transcendent experience. Man, am I into those. So I guess that would be my superpower of choice. Man, if I could time travel, I would really enjoy that superpower, I think. But, I will settle for what I've got. When we're talking about your superpower here, I mean, go ahead and say, hey, if you've got a superpower you would like to talk about, we're more than happy to have you in on that conversation. Hello from Hollywood Hills. Great. So we are from the future. That was a little taste of my superpowers. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I hit it right. So that's that. The other thing I'd like to bring into superpowers is archetypal superpowers. That there's these weird archetypes that we all kind of fit into a little bit. Elves, gnomes, vampires, witches, there's these mystical creatures that you get a glimpse that people in your life fit those archetypes, and that they, in a more fantastic universe might actually be those types of creatures. I always tell my daughter that I think she very much is an elf, and I guess I would be an elf too. I've got the ears to prove it, and elf has certain qualities to it. One quality of an elf is that they love to make things, love to create things, are constantly very industrious, hardworking creatures, and so that's something else we could talk about. So it's archetypal creatures in our lives that or that reflect the modalities that the different souls prefer. So, Craig, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts right now?
Yeah, I like that, man. I think it's important to understand yourselves archetypally, because in the final analysis, you are the hero in your own myth. You are the hero in your own journey of life. And I think life starts to take on a very different hue, a very different context when you understand yourself as an avatar, as a character in an archetypal drama. And so to know what archetype it is that you're standing in, is it the king? Is it the queen? Is it the warrior, the magician, the lover? These have real impact in our psyche and how we understand ourselves and how we understand our role in the world.
and your superpower is sort of your unique expression of that particular archetype. So if we think about great movies like The Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, right? And all of these different archetypal creatures came in and they were doing battle, but they all had a unique superpower. They all had a unique tool or gift or talent or contribution to the army that they were a part of. And so as Wayseers, we want to get to know you. We want to understand, what is it that you bring? What is the gift? What is the talent? What is the tool? What is the weapon? What is the superpower that you have? And so we want to hear from you. Type it in the chat, wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, wherever in the world, whatever channel you're on right now. We want to hear from you. We really want to understand not only what is your superpower, but what archetype do you hail from? How do you understand that? And how did you come to understand it in your life? Because some of you were born knowing. Some of you just woke up recently. You might be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and it's just dawning on you. So we're trying to get an understanding of who's here and how we can best support you. So chime in and let us know.
Yeah, and you know, I just had to reset the comments on the screen here. The Facebook comments weren't coming through, but now they are. Someone said that she's a healing goddess. That was one of her superpowers. So cool on that. Empathy is my superpower, but also kryptonite. Well, that's really interesting. It's like your superpower is a double-edged sword, and you know that when you are sort of operating with your superpower, you got to know that there is going to be some vulnerability there that cuts to the quick. I was recently told that I'm the magician, whatever that means. Well, right. So I think Wayseers are inherently very magical creatures. I think we're more open to our superpowers, which is cool. It's kind of like, you know, the X-Men type of situation where you're a bit of a mutant and because you're a bit of a mutant, well, the reason you're a bit of a mutant is because you're more open. And that openness, that neurological openness, gives you access to greater depths, greater powers, but it also makes you weird. So that's part of the fun. So if you do find that you have a superpower and it makes you weird, I think you're on the right track. That's a good thing. That's where we want to go. That's the fun we want to have. So Craig, keep chiming in here with me because I'm trying to keep track of the comments and
your superpower is not technology. Let's just come right out.
No, it is not. Well, actually, it's funny. I'm good with technology because I have the elf nature, but it's like you brought up the thing that I forgot I was trying to say is like, you know, I've got the elf nature, and the elf nature is really good with the tech, and we'll get down to work and that's great, but it is completely antithetical to another superpower I have, which is more in the orator sphere of things. And so, and that would probably be more of like an angel. Like I think of that angel, I think it's probably Gabriel, who like blows the horn, like has the great horn and go doo doo doo. You know, like there's some sort of superpower there. And the angel and the elf are like totally different creatures. And they fight.
So what you're saying?
Inside me.
Let me just make sure if I'm getting this straight. So what you're saying?
Yeah.
That an angel and an elf got together in the back seat of a Chevy Malibu, and now we have Garret. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. My mother used to joke that she was raped by an elf.
I don't think rape's anything to joke about, but. I
think she said that because she'd be around my father and to say that she had a lustful affair with an elf on some Christmas Eve. Either way, I did get the elf ears, and I do have an elf nature, but at the same time I have an angelic connection too, and that's where the videos come from. Well, the videos are kind of a combination. The video. The sound you hear, that's from the angels. The technology behind the videos, all the editing and the hard work and all that, that's the elf. And they can work well together. And sometimes, man, if the elf gets busy, I can't speak even. Like I become befuddled. In fact, that's the way you're experiencing me right now is mostly elf because I've been working with this technology for
An hour.
The whole week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just,
Yeah.
You got. I gotta.
You just saw the last hour of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta let everybody here in on a little backstage information. So, Garrett and I have been working on this for a couple weeks now, and this is actually something that goes back a couple of years, man. I think we were having conversations about what your superpower is, what your purpose is, how you can bring this to the world, and just kind of kicking around some ideas. But it reached this crescendo point a couple weeks ago where you were just like, all right, fuck it, I'm going all in. I'm just gonna throw down. We're gonna start. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be frustrating, and we're just gonna go. And what we're just starting to experience, we're just starting to get to this point where Garrett he's pushed through the technological challenges of getting the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live set up, getting his microphone and all the sound settings, and getting the ability to have guests and everything tied in. It's been very frustrating. I mean, I've sat here for hours and hours just watching him click buttons and test things, and we're just getting to this point where we can actually click go, get on these lives with you guys and start to interact. But you'll notice that we're not quite hitting that level of flow. Well, I was with him on Monday, and right after we cut off the live stream, I checked in with him, and he was in this flow state. He was in his zone, and we dialed in a new gift. I'm not gonna put any pressure on Garrett, but if we're lucky today, we might start to see a little bit of what you guys experience in the videos. You might start to get a taste of that from him live today. So I want to let you know that there's something coming here in this show. This is not just going to be him and I bantering back and forth, reading your comments. We're actually taking this to a level of performance theater that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. And so in order to get us there, we've got to help get Garrett into a flow state. And you'll see a little bit about what I want you to understand two things. One, we're going somewhere with this. And two, we want you to be experiencing flow in your lives. We want you to be experiencing that frisson that you know is possible, that you experience when you're watching his videos. We want you taking your gifts out into the world and bringing your gifts and your talents and your superpowers into the world, because that's what the world needs, people that have come truly alive. And so we're here modeling that. We're here teeing up Garrett to really bring us some magnificence today. Hopefully we'll get to touch in on that. But I just wanted to give you all a little backstage, behind the scenes information on what it's taken to get here. It's not easy to bring your superpower into the world, but it's worth it.
Yeah, and I saw a comment while you were talking. Somebody said their third eye gives them superpowers. I would totally agree. I think that's essentially what, when I say Wayseers, that's what I mean, is that you have the awakened spiritual vision, that you have your mind's eye is highly activated. It could be called your third eye or your pineal gland. And the way that works is you are low on neurological repression. Your mind is therefore open to seeing with this other kind of vision. And that mind's eye is sort of the center of imagination and sort of peering into the future, if you will, seeing a greater perspective that maybe most people are not privy to. And I think that is the gift that Wayseers bring. And yet, at the same time, somebody also mentioned in the comments here, they saw the We Are From the Future video, and they said it helped save them because they were feeling really suicidal at the time. Because we're so open, we're open to attack too. The sort of all the psychic forces that are generally kept unconscious in most people so they can go about their days and not get too upset, not get too depressed. Wayseers are incredibly vulnerable to the sort of the psychic demons too, and because of that, we fight depression, we fight suicidal thoughts, we fight all sorts of addictions and afflictions. That's part of the openness. But with that openness, you also have great genius available to you, great inspiration available to you. Your third eye, your mind's eye, your spiritual vision gives, you have that awakened and open, and that brings through tremendous brilliance if you can just cultivate it, and if you can transcend the other junk that also invades your consciousness because you're so open. So one of the things I want to just, I want to deal with some technical things here, because we're just starting this out, and I'd love for us to use the technology as best as possible. We have a new Twitch account, and you can find that in the hopefully in the comment or whatever thing that's written with this video in the description. There should be a link to the Twitch account. I'd love anyone who's into Twitch to check that out, because we want to do a lot of fun stuff on Twitch. And then also something we got from Twitch is this cool feature where you can interrupt our live stream with a voiceover. If you oh, there you go, somebody just yeah, okay. So you can interrupt our live stream. There's another link in the description where it lets you interrupt our live stream with a spoken thing. So if you have something that you really want to say, or a question you really want addressed, or whatever, there's a link in the description that lets you go and contribute in an audible way to our stream. And so if anyone wants to try that out, go for it. We'd love to see how this all works. But just letting you know, there's a lot of fun tech toys we can be using here in this multi-stream. We are streaming to 2 Facebook pages and 2 YouTube pages. That's why you're seeing these comments here that might not be ones you're seeing in the thread that you're watching, because there's a bunch of different channels that we're broadcasting to at the same time. So this is your way. This thing is your way of keeping track of the dialogue that everyone's having on all these different platforms.
Yeah, highly experimental. Wayseers are highly experimental. Yeah. We can't help ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, so what comments did I miss, Craig, while I was rambling on about tech?
Keep up with them right at this point. I'm not even sure what to say. I saw a couple a while back that I wanted to go back and find. So someone just mentioned something here. I mean, we're gonna bounce around today just because that's what this is today. Yeah. I'm in a bounce around kind of mentality, so we're gonna bounce around. So someone was just mentioned UFO sightings. Now, I don't know whether I would believe that there are other intelligent beings in this universe. Seems like a big place, an awful waste of space if there's not other intelligent beings that could potentially travel to our planet, and maybe there's UFOs and stuff like that. But I also tend more towards thinking that we're in a simulation. And if we're in a simulation, I think it's very possible that UFO sightings, things of that sort, may not be actual, like, physical beings coming from other planets in spaceships to visit our planet and watch us and experiment on us. What if those things are more of a psychic phenomena that are our experience of beings that are not typically in the simulation? So it's like, you're in the simulation, but there's some sort of like groundskeeper or whatever that like comes in from outside, and we experience that coming in from outside as like a UFO or some sort of spaceship or whatever. Or if they, take us for a ride or an experiment, and all these people who feel like they've been abducted and experimented on. I mean, what if that really is like someone outside the simulation, I don't know, prodding you? Just an idea, but that's kind of an idea that I've kind of stumbled across more recently, and I kind of like the idea. I think it explains why we might have these contact from other visitors, but not really be overrun and colonized like you would expect an alien civilization to do to another civilization. Well, we could go. I don't know. Go way down the rabbit.
We could go on that. Exactly. So we don't need to go any further with that.
So let's get back to these superpowers, because I'm seeing like magical angel, prayer warrior, agape loves from Sandra. I saw one back here that I really liked. There was a magician. However, his superpower is music. So I'd love to hear some of that music, Dakota. I mean, put a link in here. This is, you guys, it's hard because we're not all standing in a room. We're not all chatting, live in real time, but you guys are able to get your voices heard here on the chat. And if you've got something to share, I want to see you share it. I know that, we just got through the darkest days of the year. If you've been with us for the past few live streams, we kind of went through this big dip in the year, and now we're coming back into the light. We talked about addictions. We talked about the pain that we experience as Wayseers. Number one, because we are so weird and we are often feeling ostracized from our families, from our communities, from the world. But number two, because we're so damn sensitive and empathic and we feel the pain of the world. And so as the days start to get brighter, as we start to experience more light in the world, I'm wanting to invite all of you to share more of your light, to bring more of that into the world. And it starts by sharing it with other Wayseers who can understand, who can appreciate it. So if you've got a link to a web page, if you've got a link to a video, if you've got a poem, something that you can post in the comments to share with us all so that we can experience your light, we'd love to see it. We'd love to experience your superpower. So if you've got something like that, go ahead and paste it in here. And Garret, I'm curious. We've got about 7 more minutes for the show. How are we gonna activate your superpower here today? What does it take for you to really get into a flow state and feel that Frisian and let it start booming through you in that magical voice we all have come to know and love from the videos?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll get there. I don't think we can force it. And it's one of those things. If I have something to say, like the angelic side, so we'll call it the angelic superpower or whatever. Like that is something where, if I'm in the right receptive place and I hear the call or I hear the voice or whatever, I can kind of bring it through if I'm not too self-conscious about it. But at the same time, faking it doesn't work either. And I guess I'm kind of in a place right now where it's like all the tech that we pulled together to get this thing going as kind of left me in a bit of a stumbling place. So I'm happy. It's like I need to answer something. It's like, I think you've even said that to me, Craig. It's like there needs to be a call that I answer, and when there's a clear question or a clear call that I can answer, that's where I really get going. Otherwise, it's kind of much more of a terrestrial me, and
we still love you, Garret.
I am sensitive to the difference.
We love the terrestrial, yeah. We love the elfin, and we love the angelic you. And I think for everybody watching, if you can come back and join us on Monday, let's see if we can get this tech working and actually power up around 2:33 like we've been aiming for. I think that the thing, what I'm really hearing, Garret, is you need more time. You just need time to settle down from the tech frustrations, start to respond to some people that are showing up here, and eventually something starts to come through. So.
Right. And the other piece is like, we're just sort of coming together now. So all the comments coming through is great. Those were broken for most of the week. So it's like, this is great to just see that everybody's able to like comment into the same channel here, and then trying to keep up with these comments. That this is an interesting thing, and I probably shouldn't get like over concerned with the comments. I think future shows will just kind of let them go by. But I if I feel comfortable that everything else is being handled, that's where I can kind of really get outside myself, jump into that place of self-transcendence, and work that kind of magic. I think a bunch of people talked about magic here, and magic is a funny thing. It's like, there are moments where you really can conjure it, and the other times when you just you're just too distracted. So that's just kind of how it has to be, and we have to be comfortable with that. But we are going to have a lot of fun with this show, and I want you all to know that we're doing this show Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's 3 days a week. We start trying to do the show at 2:30 every day. That's 2:30 New York time. It generally takes us up to an hour just to get the stupid thing working, which is what we did today. So I think today we fussed around for an hour and a half. I fussed around for 3 hours. Craig was patiently waiting while we got all the tech going, and then here we are. So Craig, what else? What other comments do we have here? What are some of the coolest, most interesting things that we can riff on for the last few minutes?
I'm seeing some cool stuff in here. Some people are starting to post some links and share what they've got. A lot of empathy for your tech challenges on your end. I think people are. Yeah. I think people are starting to feel it, man. I think they're starting to feel stoked for what we're bringing together here. And I want to just encourage you all, show up on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We're trying to get a good rhythm going. You know, what these live streams do is they give us a chance to connect. They give us a chance to get into flow and experience that frisson. And what that means is dopamine in the brain, right? That reward chemical of, yes, let's do more of this. We get oxytocin from connecting with each other. And that is, it's literally changing our state. It's changing our neurochemistry. It's able to pull us out of depression. It's able to activate our superpowers. So keep showing up. It's like a prescription. It's like a diet. It's like having a regular dose of some good stuff in your brain, in your life, in your heart, connecting with each other. And so that's what I really want to encourage you guys to do. And I'd love to hear from you in the last couple minutes here. What would you like us to talk about next time? We talked about superpowers today. We talked about addiction last week. What would you guys like us to talk about on Monday? You know, it'll be Monday. It will be our next one.
And you know, also I forgot to ask, but if there's anyone out there who is really good with audio, video editing and that kind of stuff, social media, all that tech, you know, I'm the only elf in the room right now when it comes to Craig and I and Shireen, and it gets very distracting when we're trying to do a show around it. It'd be great to just have someone else who's, you know, a like-minded, a kindred spirit who also is good with the video editing and audio editing and whatnot, and maybe can jump in. We'll, you know, find a way to compensate you. We'd love to have you involved. So if that is something that you are good with, send an email to Garret, Garret, at Wayseers, WAYSEERS.com. And just put, like, you know, Wayseer video editor or something like that in the subject line, so I know that's an answer to this. But you know, we do need tech help, and I've been doing all the tech, and that's part of the reason you don't see a lot from me. I don't like interrupting people with nonsense. I even feel like this show is a little bit sketchy, a little bit sideways, but that's okay. We had other good shows this week. I think, you know, Wednesday's show actually ended up pretty good towards the end. Just fast forward through the first half. You usually have to do that with me while I get settled. Anyway, you know, we're going to do better and better shows. We're going to bring in music. We're going to bring in all kinds of, like, theatrics to it, but, like, not fake theatrics. Like, we're going to try to do, like, stuff that's genuine, like that takes us to that higher place. Little moments of self-transcendence we're going to be trying to work, and not just, you know, we have these videos that help evoke self-transcendence. We're going to try to have a communal experience of self-transcendence going forward, which will be great. Like, we're all doing it at the same time, and maybe that helps us all do it at the same time. So look forward to that. I don't know what else we got here. Anything else, Craig?
That's it. We're at time for today.
Oh.
Thanks everybody for showing up, and we will see you on Monday, somewhere around 2:30, 3 o'clock Eastern time. We'll look forward to.
I'd bet closer to 3. I mean, it usually seems to, you know. So, but we start trying at around 2:30. Well, actually, I start pulling stuff together much earlier, but by 3, we're probably going to be, you know, more on roll. And we have got all these great subjects. It's so much easier to relax into a subject when we have more time. So we're going to try to start earlier and have more time to go longer. If anyone here knows somebody you would like to have on the show, especially if you're already in touch with them or it's you, let us know. Send, you know, guest whatever in the subject line, Garret@Wayseers.com. We're happy to have other people on the show. It would be great if we can have people who already have significant followings too, so that we can kind of help grow the show. And so if you know anybody's like, hey, you know, I got this friend who's got a great show too, and you guys could, you know, be on the show with each other, like that'd be great. If you happen to have something you want to share or you want to talk about, let us know. We're going to have fun with this. It's going to be great. 3 days a week. We're working on all fronts. If anyone here is good at Twitch, we'd love to hear from you. Follow us on Twitch. If anyone here is, you know, well, whatever, good with video, whatever, we you know, you already heard me ask for that. Anything else, Craig?
That's all for today. Thanks everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.